Welcome to the Uzima Health and Wellness Podcast.
What did the doctor say?
Hi.
How are you?
Hi, how are you?
Doing very well. Very nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well, doctor.
That's a great shirt, by the way.
Thank you. I'm going to get a custom Uzima Health and Wellness shirt made, but right now this will have to do.
Yeah, I like it. It works well.
Thank you. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to
Of course.
I created Uzima Health and Wellness to do exactly some of the things that you are doing, and that is to do community outreach, to create a conversation around the social political determinants of health, to make it a word that we all can engage in. So I've been very impressed with your podcast, but let me
thank you very much.
With a very good introduction. You are an assistant professor at Yale School of Medicine and Department of Psychiatry. You are a Duke graduate. I think they call you Dookies.
That's true. That's very true.
My homework.
Yeah.
PhD from Yale in 2007. So that you really did a sprint from getting your bachelor's to your PhD. You own a lab, or you have a research lab, so you own it, where you are federally funded to research some of our challenges in substance abuse, anxiety, and depression. You've worked tirelessly in faculty in both mentoring faculty and students. You work in diversity, inclusion, and equity programs. And you've also, on top of that, been able to have time for community events and create town halls and conversations around mental health and engagement. So I guess the question is, who are you?
A little bit of all of the above.
Yeah, who are you, Dr. Addy?
Yeah, so to go all the way back to the beginning, so both of my parents grew up in Ghana, West Africa. So I'm also the son of immigrants. They immigrated here in the 70s. And that's part of the story as well, because they took advantage of opportunities they had to further their education when they came to this country and instilled that.
What part of Ghana?
They're both from Accra.
Okay, I've been there.
Oh, excellent. Excellent.
It's a wonderful picture.
Yes.
I'm
yes.
from artists in Accra.
I'm very impressed. I'm very impressed. So you spent some time there. Did you enjoy your time?
I did. I think that it was a meaningful tour. I definitely went to our castle. Forgive me, it's blanking me, probably from the excitement to see where the door of no return. And I took my 17-year-old nephew to experience that as well. So those pictures, I know that he will look back on and be like, I went there.
Yeah.
You know, it's a lifetime trip that I did.
Definitely impactful, emotional, and all those components all at once. So I have that family legacy as well. And with them coming to the States and all that they went through, taking advantage of opportunities, they instilled some of those components in me at a young age. Granted, I didn't really grasp them early on, to be completely honest. I'm sure I gave them a bit of grief, not really taking my schooling seriously at a young age. But it was a turning point where I really took ownership of that. And part of that, we moved to an area that was predominantly white because of some of the opportunities there. But that was part of my story as well. And to be honest, part of my motivation when I shifted was not wanting to be labeled as the dumb Black kid in the class, to be completely honest. So that was really, that's a key piece of my story. And it's something that I really took to heart. And of course, there were all the challenges that came along with that. You mentioned that I went to Duke University. There were challenges and doubters along the way, I would say. And you could kind of read through the lens and say, okay, well, they don't know if this Black kid can really achieve at that level. So to be honest, that's really part of what motivated me at the beginning. I know that's an experience that others have had as well. So I always like to mention that because that's part of my story in terms of how I got to Duke in the first place and invested in some of the work that I'm already doing now.
Where did you grow up?
So I grew up in Michigan primarily, but we moved around quite a bit. So we were also in Atlanta at one point, also in North Carolina. Again, with my parents' work and things like that.
When did you decide that you didn't want to be the dumb Black kid?
So it was actually in 8th grade when I basically failed a bug science project that we had. Put it off till the last minute, didn't put the work in, and just having that experience of doing so poorly and wondering, that was when I was first in that school for the first time. So really, all the pieces that come up, teenage years, wondering how people are going to look at me. And really finally internalizing all of that and realizing, okay, I'm capable of a lot more than I'm actually putting the effort into. And so that was a turning point for me.
And what was your major at Duke?
So my major at Duke was biology, but I also had a neuroscience concentration.
Mhm.
And that was through a conversation that I had with my psychology professor. I
Mhm.
asked him what major he thought. I was really curious about psychology and trying to invest in some of those components. And he actually told me not to be a psychology major,
Mhm.
which, to be honest, was a little bit distressing to me. I was like, what am I doing wrong here? My psychology professor is telling me not to go into this. Am I not cut out for this?
Mhm.
But I think what he saw was my love for biology.
Mhm.
And so he thought that would be a better place for me to kind of investigate some of these aspects about the processes in the brain that contribute to mental health. And it's funny because I've come full circle and I definitely pull in a lot of psychology now. I've also done an internship with psychology interns during my sabbatical to learn some of those components. But yeah, initially my major was biology, focusing on the neuroscience component of things.
Hi, Uzima family. If you like what you're seeing and what you're hearing, subscribe to our channel. Hit the bell icon below to be notified of our recent videos. What the doctor say?